Thanks, except that I went to bed very late last night because I came late from Leon, but it's okay. I'm very
Mm,
fine now with a cup of coffee. That
yeah,
fixes everything, right?
yeah. Coffee's good to wake up.
Yes. Um, well, besides the project that we have to develop a channel, we also have something interesting to discuss today about trade. How was the beginning of trade
Mm,
and when it was, what they started trading, and why it's so fundamental and why it is so actual now. Even, I mean, even if it's begun thousands of years ago, to this day it is very important. It is fundamental aspect of living. What do you think of trade in general, Mickey? What is your opinion about trade in general terms?
mm, well, in actuality, and as you mentioned, so many years ago, trade's so important uh, to different countries because thanks of trade, now it is possible to have more variety or products and more or less establish a market. So I think that trade is so important, and the actuality trade obviously uh, um, how can I say this? Trade it's so important because now thanks of that we can have the products that we we haven't before. And yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Remember what was barter, the barter system? What was the barter system and what was the idea of bartering?
mm, Barter system, it was like the exchange
Uh-huh.
uh, of goods or services for other goods or services.
Right, exactly. It was not necessarily through a monetary system, but through objects, right?
Yeah.
Uh, at that time, people used many things to exchange. For example, they would exchange his surplus grain. Maybe I have excess wheat and you have excess barley, or you have excess maize or excess corn, and I have excess sorghum, and we would exchange it, right?
Yeah.
Exchange surplus grains. Let's say uh, corn for wheat, or oat, other grains, barley maybe, which is cebada, right?
Hmm.
Etc. Well, what happened after that when the currency was developed, and which were the limitations of barter, Mickey? And consequently, they developed currency, the currency system, the moneda, right? They developed the currency, the coins, the monetary system. What limitations had the barter system?
Mm, well, I know that the reason why a barter system didn't continue, why? Because because the invention of money.
Yes, yes, yes. The invention of money was the result of a necessity. There
Hmm.
was a need in the society because, for example, I had an excess livestock. I have a cow
Hmm.
in excess because I have 1,000 cows. I only need 90. I have 100 cows and I only need 99. I want to change my cow, and you have excess of wheat,
Hmm.
but then it is not equivalent, one cow to 1 kilogram or 10 kilograms of wheat. So we say, well, yeah, but it's complicated to exchange one cow for, I mean, 10,000 kilograms of wheat, right?
Yeah.
So I says, well, what can I do with 10,000 kilograms? Sometimes changing objects was not so easy. So they said, well, let's find an equivalent. And which would be good equivalents at that time?
Mm, equivalent of.
Yeah, like a currency. It was not the coin. It was not the coin, the circle coin, the silver coin at that time. They had other,
Gold.
excuse me,
Gold.
gold. Yeah, it was, yeah, metal objects. They had
Mhm.
gold shells, metal objects, as you say, as a medium of exchange, right?
Yeah.
That is true. Okay. Then there was also something very important that appeared here, that were the trade routes. The trade routes in which you were a merchant, maybe you were selling silk, you were selling clothes, you were selling maybe cotton or fibers, right? Natural fibers. The Persians were experts on that, remember?
Yeah.
Persians used to sell garments, garments, and fine cloth, which included silk. Remember what silk is? Said is
Silk.
seda,
Yeah.
right? So trade routes. What? Let's talk a little bit about trade routes. Trade routes, which is still to this day very important. Trade routes, which have been the most, let's say, the most famous, the most used trade routes, Mickey, that come to your mind or that you remember, or this was a very old trade routes,
Mm,
very famous trade routes.
well, I think that in the past, when United States was divided in English colonies, or how can I say it?
Yeah, yeah, that is right.
I think that they had that route from the British colonies to Great Britain.
Okay, yeah, yeah, of course, yes, that is true.
What
Um,
else? Mm,
well, in ancient times, they mentioned that there was the Silk Road
okay.
that connected China with the Mediterranean, the
Mhm.
Silk Road, and the Middle East. So, for example, that is very interesting. I didn't know about that. Well, I knew about the trade routes, but I didn't know that it started in China. And it started in China because the Chinese originally started working with silk. And so those were the main objects that people traded in the beginning, silk, and it originated in China. So the original merchants started in China and went across China with the Mediterranean and the Middle East. So let's say trade routes. China, Silk Road, China connected with the Mediterranean. Which are the Mediterranean countries in Europe now?
Oh,
In this moment, yes, the Mediterranean countries.
mm, Spain,
Spain is one of them, yes.
uh, France,
France, yes.
Italy, I think so.
Italy, yes.
Mm, Turkey.
Turkey, yeah, absolutely, yes, 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 yes.
Mm, I think that Greece too, right?
Greece, yeah, it's in the same area. So it looks like interesting that the trade was between China and the Mediterranean countries. You mentioned Turkey. I'm not sure. Let's see a map. If you can see a map, Mickey. I don't know
Yeah.
if Egypt is also part of the Mediterranean or is a different map. Is a
No, I
different
think that
country.
is part of the Mediterranean.
In countries map or list. Let's see. You're right. It is ancient Greece. Um, so
Slovenia,
Slovenia.
Croatia, Libya, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Jordan, Syria, Israel, Lebanon, Cyprus, Malta, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro,
Bos-
Albania.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. There is an interesting map. Let me take a look at this. I'm gonna paste it here so that we have an idea of what kind of potential we have now. The Mediterranean countries, and look at this map. I'm gonna post it here. I don't know if you can see it in terms of surface. Oh, this is amazing, this map. I don't know if you can see it. I'll increase the size here. Okay,
Yeah.
look, it's amazing. This is the whole Mediterranean. It is embedded in the US to show the potential that we have as far as commerce, or in other words, how much space the Mediterranean has compared to the US. Look at the map. What do you think, Mickey?
Well, it is incredible how there are so many countries in that space, and in comparison with the United States, that it's only one country. Uh, it's incredible how, in terms of territory, the United States and Canada, well, yeah, are their extension.
Yeah, that is true. Even us, even in our case, our
Hmm.
border is impressive, right? I mean, it is very large. I think it's like this, like this, like this, like this. Oh no, I'm sorry. Down below, it's like this. Here, like this, like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that the one time we had also taxes, this and this and this. It was like this at one time. Well, that is lost. But yeah, it is just amazing the size for the trade. Well, also apparently they also traded silk. They traded amber. What do you think of amber, Mickey? What is amber? It
Amber,
was
the stone or what?
yeah, the stone is a stone.
Mm, well, I'm not sure about the origin of amber, but I think that is like a, how do you say, a resin, or how can I say, no, resina, how can I say it?
Resin is
Resin,
a resin. Oh,
right?
okay. I don't know really. I thought that it was yeah, a stone very valuable for its merit of color. resistance, that is very pretty,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
that it was one article of trade.
yeah, but I think that I read one day that it is a resin, a fossil resin.
Okay, okay, okay.
It makes it more interesting. I think so.
Of course, of course. But is natural or is man-made?
Yeah, I'm not sure about it. Let me
Uh,
search it. Let me
but
search if it is a resin or not.
I believe you're right. Yes, it is a resin. It is a fossilized resin, as it says.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it's right. And it is used as a jewel, like
Mm-hmm.
you use diamonds, or as you use gold or silver, emeralds. Yeah, it's a resin. You are correct. Fossilized resin and contains the remains of ancient plants and insects. So yeah, it has been fossilized, and it can, yeah, it fossilizes plants and insects, so it's very old,
Wow.
and it is from with the resin of certain trees, conifers, and it has the ability to preserve organisms that became trapped. So there was a sticky resin, and it fossilized and became hard to penetrate. So that became amber, and that's why it is so pretty. So, well, not what that's not the reason why it is so pretty. It's so valuable because
So
it's very old. It's very antique.
I don't know the price of amber to be honest, but I imagine that is that it's a good price.
Well, I have the experience of buying many objects, earrings, bracelets, and objects of amber. When I went to the Ukraine, I went to the chess championship over there, the university
Hmm.
chess champion in 1990, and it was not very expensive there. It
Oh,
was
really?
more expensive here in Mexico. So I brought all the family and friends earrings made of amber. And they were
Mm.
fascinated. They said, "Oh, beautiful, beautiful." But actually, they cost me very little in the Ukraine, in
Yeah.
Odessa.
Do you remember more or less uh, how much money it was?
Uh, I don't think more than at that time. Well, but I'm going to give you a reference. At that time, I paid like 30 rubles, which in the black market you could get one ruble for, I mean, 20 rubles for $1. So it was
Hmm.
like $1.50 a pair of earrings.
Oh.
But also consider that many of the objects there were subsidized, Mickey. For example, a book made of cloth with hard binding, like this one maybe. You have a book with hardcover,
Yeah.
like this, that is got here this ending like this.
Hmm.
This would cost you 10 rubles, half a dollar.
Wow.
Yeah. So the
So it
books
was like
were,
uh, 20 rubles for $1.
yes, so that would cost you 10 pesos. A great book with cloth binding, and it was threaded. It was with silk pages. I mean, the pages were polished with, it was not silk, wax paper.
Hmm.
Very fine books. They would cost you 10 rubles. If you wanted to go to a show like the Bolshoi Ballet, which in that place was the Kirov Ballet,
Hmm.
I remember I paid 10 rubles. 10 rubles, yes, half a
So
dollar.
it is not expensive. Well, in that time, I don't know. No.
No, at that time, yes, because many activities were subsidized, and so it was incredibly cheap for foreigners to be there. Very, very inexpensive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that is something very interesting to bear in mind. Well, coming back to the topic of objects for trade, how is the evolution of trade, Mickey? How did trade evolve from the ancient eras to our days? How, let me put it here, how did trade evolve, evolve from trading silk, amber, I think gold, and other fine metals to our days? How is that evolution? And that is incredibly interesting to our days.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course, trade has evolved in to the next level because now there are a big variety of goods and services, and there are trades too between different countries. For example, here in Mexico, obviously, we have the trade with United States and Canada, and there are so many trades around the world and with all the countries. And I think that it has made that there are now like more variety in general of the goods that we haven't met in the past. And I know the trade is so important because it can makes us know and understand more about different cultures and countries too, like their culture and their way of living in those countries.
yeah, that is very important. And we sometimes ignore this, but this that you're saying is very important. It's not only the object, but the culture and the country,
Hmm.
right? Which countries or country seems interesting for you, Mickey? That you would say, oh, the products from this country have something unique. Products of this country have something unique. What is that?
Um,
What country seems interesting for you?
well, I think that all countries have something important to show or to yeah to show to the other cultures. For example, um, it is surprising for me Japan or I don't know Germany in terms of um, car industry and all those yeah all those brands that they have. For example, in Japan, well, we know it's something that I realized because I was reading about the Second World War, and I realized that the countries that have suffered more are the countries that now are leading in so many aspects. So it is surprising for me how those cultures and how those countries have evolved in that way, and now they are leading in so many factors in the actuality.
Yeah, that is a very good comment. Those countries, Japan, Germany, were absolutely totally destroyed. But totally, totally. There was no stone over stone. Just take Berlin. Berlin after the occupation of the armed Russian forces. Let's take a look at Berlin right after the occupation of the Russian forces. Let's see, we can Google that and we take a look at pictures right after the Battle of Berlin. They say
Yeah.
totale Zerstörung. Zerstörung is total destruction. Let's see. There are pictures, but there are pictures of Berlin right after the war. How the buildings were absolutely totally destroyed. There was no stone over stone. Let's see. Maybe this is not the right way to look at it. Let's see if you find pictures of Berlin. Let me see. Berlin.
After the World War II?
Oh, yeah, after the occupation, after the World War II, or after the Battle of Berlin, Berlin after the battle, or after the occupation, or after the World War II. Yes, after the war.
I found here some pictures.
Can you share them, please?
Yeah, yeah, it was
Wow.
completely destroyed.
Yeah, they had to demolish the buildings. They were not livable. They had to destroy them and rebuild them over and over. There are, yeah, look at the picture with the ladies with the strollers below there. That one.
Yeah,
There, it's awful. A war is awful. Yeah, that
there's a
totally.
quote, right, that says that uh, humans are the only species that wants peace with war.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's the only species that was what?
that wants peace using war.
Using war. Yeah, look at that picture where all the women are right above that one.
Where they are
Yeah, that
doing,
that one.
they
Where
are
the
smashing the blocks, or what is that?
yeah, they're doing some work. And do you know why most of those workers are women?
No.
Well, because the men were at war and most of them died.
Yeah, that
There was a
makes sense.
shortage of men.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, that was really bad. Look in the trenches, people in the trenches. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, for example, I saw a video of someone who was showing the city of Nagasaki, and obviously we know that after the atomic bomb was completely destroyed, and now Nagasaki and that part of Japan, it's so advanced in terms of technology and in so many terms. So
Oh, oh, really? Let's
yeah,
take a look at modern Nagasaki. Is there a way to look at it?
yeah,
Modern Nagasaki. Nagasaki. Oh, wow. Impressive.
yeah. Look, and it is incredible how those cities and all those countries that were completely destroyed now are leading in so many aspects, in, in economy terms and in
Tech
everything in some cases.
Technology, culture.
Yeah, look, there's a picture here of where is here how it was and now.
Wow. That is impressive. Then and now, right?
Yeah.
Gee, it was completely blasted with a bomb.
Hmm.
They said that with the original blast, with the first and only blast, there were 92,000 people who died immediately, automatically. 92,000 people.
92,000. Oh my god.
Imagine. I don't know if it is exaggerated or not, but it's a lot of people in one single blast.
Yeah, and I read that the pilot who how can I say who threw out the bomb
Dropped the bomb,
dropped
yes.
Trump. I think that he mistake a little bit in the in the location of where it was planned, and they say that if it wasn't that mistake, I think that it would be more people who immediately dead, because I think that he was as 15 or 20 meters of distance of the original point of drop. So I
Yeah,
think that, yeah, look.
right. Wow. 75th anniversary of atomic bombings. That was in August,
Hmm.
August 6th.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is the same lake, right?
Yeah, yeah, impressive, impressive. Well, let's think of that concept. Why there's been this evolution of these countries? Why these countries have evolved to the extent of being, as you say, the leaders, right?
Yeah.
Why are these countries leading in the world of commerce mainly? Well, yeah, commerce. For example, Germany trades honey with all the world.
Hmm.
Being a country that trades honey, they don't even produce it. But then how do they trade it, right? uh, why is that? So let's see if we can find an explanation of why Germany and Japan, why Germany and Japan are leading countries in commerce, right?
Yeah, let
In
me search.
trade and well, not only in trade, in many things, leading countries. Why Germany and Japan are leading countries now? That is an interesting question. Why do you think they are leading countries now, Mickey?
Mm, I think that because they focused on, first of all, on technology and innovation. I think that
Innovation.
it was a reason, and um, obviously they needed to reconstruct the both countries, and I think that some countries helped with investment into those countries or not. Yeah, right.
Apparently, there was this Marshall Plan, the Marshall Plan, and that is
Mhm.
an interesting concept. The Marshall Plan. Let's read a little bit about that. What was the Marshall Plan? It was a plan for the recovery of the U.S. of not the U.S. I'm sorry, of the recovery of Europe. Apparently instilled or proposed by the U.S. Let's see what it says about the Marshall Plan. Marshall Plan. What was it? Right? And it was injecting money for the reconstruction. Was it good? What benefits did it bring? Well, it brought lots of benefits, not only to the European countries, but there was going to be cooperation, integration, many benefits, not only for the Europeans, but for the Americans themselves. But it was a great action, I think. So,
Yeah, I found here a little bit of information of the Marshall Plan.
what does it say?
The Marshall Plan, officially known as the European Recovery Program, was a major American initiative designed to aid Western Europe in the aftermath of World War II. It was named after U.S. Secretary of State George C. Marshall, who announced the plan in a speech at Harvard University on June 5, 1947. And here says the key objectives. One of them was the economic recovery. The second one was preventing the communism, and the third one, promoting the trade.
Did you know that it was intended to prevent communism? The
Yeah.
Marshall Plan. So it was recovery of Europe, recovery of Europe. The second one was the prevention of communism,
Mm-hmm. And promoting trade.
promoting trade.
Here in Preventing Communism says that a secondary objective of the Marshall Plan was to contain the spread of communism in Europe. The United States was concerned that economic and political instability in Europe could make countries more susceptible to communist influence. By aiding in their economic recovery, the US aimed to create stable and prosperous democracies that would be less vulnerable to communist ideologies.
Right. However, the communism spread at that time. It was a very strong feeling of solidarity of people, but very strong mainly in the lower classes because they were feeling abused. They were feeling that the companies were taking huge advantage of them, and they had no option but developing this system.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, many of the technological advances that the Russians got was through the communist leagues. They built communist
Hmm.
leagues, and these leagues led to the not the demise of the American system, but to the collaboration. To I mean, there were many spies in the U.S. That's why they developed the what was this guy McCarthy? That was something against communism in the U.S. Very very strong. It was not Monroe Doctrine. McCarthyism. Okay, McCarthyism. Let's find this term, Mickey, please. McCarthyism, please. What was a McCarthyism? Please, Mickey. What was a McCarthyism? I think this is the word.
Yeah, I found here information.
What does it say, please?
McCarthyism refers to a period of intense anti-communist suspicion and persecution in the United States that peaked in the late 1940s and the early 1950s. It was named after Senator Joseph McCarthy, a Republican from Wisconsin who played a prominent role in promoting and leading the anti-communist crusade during this era. And here say like the key features of McCarthyism.
Yes, which
Mm,
are they? Features of McCarthyism. Yes.
the first one, Red Scare.
Which?
Red Scare.
Scare?
Mm-hmm.
Red
And
Scare.
here says that McCarthyism was part of the broader Red Scare, a term used to describe the fear of communism and communist infiltration in American society. This fear was fueled by the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union.
Ah, okay. Everything that was red was considered bad. Actually, that became a term. Oh, communist. Like in the times of the Inquisition,
Mm-hmm.
if you were a witch, they would kill you materially. Here, the same thing with McCarthyism. Okay, what else? Other characteristics.
Accusations of communist sympathy.
Okay,
The third one, hearings and investigations.
okay.
The fourth, blacklisting.
Blacklisting.
Here says that many individuals accused of being communist or communist sympathizers face severe consequences, including the loss of their jobs, damage to their reputations, and social ostracism. This practice of blacklisting extended to the entertainment industry, with actors, writers, and directors being barred from working in Hollywood.
Jeez, so you couldn't work. Yeah, so that was the origin of the blacklisting, right? And the blacklist is communist. He cannot work here or there or there. That
Um,
is just because you think that the means of production. Well,
mhm.
actually, what is the definition of communism in the by theoreticians? What is
Mm,
communism defined?
Here says that um, communism is a socio-political and economic ideology that advocates for a classless society in which the means of production and distribution are commonly owned and wealth and resources are shared equally among all members of society. While there have been various interpretations and implementations of communism throughout history, the theoretical foundations of communism can be summarized as follows. And here says um, the first one, common ownership. The
Okay.
second one, classless society. The third one, from each according to ability to each according to need. The fourth one, central planning. The fifth one, elimination of private property. And the sixth one, transition to communism. Yeah, to be honest, those terms, obviously, I've seen in school, but uh, I think that there's not like the clear way to explain it because sometimes they mix communism with other things, and or they mixed socialism with other terms, and I think that I need to be more involved about the different systems.
Right. Let's see the definition of capitalism to oppose it to communism. Right off, I think that there are good elements and elements that I don't agree with. For example, I don't agree with the elimination of private property. You must be owner of what is private. I mean,
Yeah.
some things must be yours. Your house, no question about that, right? Common ownership, well, could be maybe there is a corporation. Actually, corporation is a form of communism because there are owners,
Hmm.
but now it is very entangled in the capitalistic world. So there is a paradox that one of the most evident ways of capitalism is the corporation, and the corporation is the common ownership. So actually, you would say that some capitalistic measures are communist, right? Because
Yeah.
it's common ownership. So if it was one sole proprietorship, like Elon Musk, well, that is
Hmm.
capitalism. But if you say Intel, Microsoft, and other companies that have two, three, five owners, well, those are communists. Of course, if you say that in the US, they burn you, right?
Yeah, of
But
course.
let's see what the definition of capitalism is, please, Mickey, because this
Hmm.
is all related to trade in a way.
Yeah, of course.
Capitalism. What is capitalism, please?
Here says that capitalism is an economic and political system that is characterized by private ownership of the means of production and the pursuit of profit through market-based competition. In theory, capitalism is based on several key principles. The first one, private property. The second one, market economy. The third one, profit motive. The fourth one, competition. Fifth one, limited government intervention. The sixth one, consumer sovereignty. The seventh one, economic freedom. Eighth, profit and loss mechanism. Ninth, innovation and entrepreneurship. And the last one, income inequality.
All right. Income inequality, right? Income.
Yeah, here says that one of the criticisms of capitalism is that it can result in income inequality. The pursuit of profit can lead to disparities in wealth and income, with some individuals and businesses achieving greater success than others. And government policies and social safety nets are often implemented to address this issue.
Right, exactly, exactly. Well, there is a writer which is very smart. Is Carl Polanyi. Carl Polanyi. Can you Google him, please? Carl Polanyi, please, Mickey, and see who he was. This is all connected because trade is interconnected with the economical systems of the world, with the ideological, with the political, and all types of systems.
Yeah,
And if we're able to put them in paper and discuss them, then we're gonna learn a lot about trade, about all the aspects of the world, which is where we live, right? So, what do you know about Carl Polanyi? What does it say, Mickey? Carl Polanyi.
I've heard that Karl Polanyi mm, was a Hungarian American economist, economic historian, and social theorist known for his work on economy anthropology and the impact of economic system on society. He made significant contribution to the fields of economic history, economic sociology, and political economy. His most influential work is the book The Great Transformation, published in 1944. And here appears key aspects of Karl Polanyi's work and ideas.
Okay, which are they, please?
The Great Transformation. In The Great Transformation, Polanyi argued that the emergence of modern capitalism in the 19th and early 20th centuries represented a radical and disruptive change in society. He contended that market economies, when left unregulated and unchecked, and could lead to social disintegration and human suffering. The
Can
second
you
one,
repeat that, please? No,
yeah,
the first one, Mickey. Can you please repeat it? The unregulated what? Unregulated
and unchecked could lead to social disintegration and human suffering.
disintegration and social suffering. Okay, but the unregulated and unchecked what? Laws, economic measures, or what? What? Because these are the modern
Mm,
capitalism.
mhm.
That's the phrase. Is that phrase correct? Emergence of modern capitalism, if it is unregulated and unchecked, can lead to social disintegration.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think of this sentence? Do you think it's an exaggeration? Let's think that he's exactly in the middle of war. It's in 1944 when he writes this book, and even if it's in war, he emigrated to, I think, to Britain, to England, and then to the U.S.
Mhm.
So he's in the middle of war and still he's writing this book. He says that the emergence of modern capitalism, if it is unregulated, if it is exaggerated, so can lead to social disintegration and social suffering. What do you think?
Um, well, of course, it makes sense, and I think that it's not so necessary to go back to those years because I think that in actuality
Yes,
it's something that is still happening.
yes.
I read a news a few days ago that says that I don't remember what country of Africa was, but that well, in few words, it is still um, dominated by France, probably not in the direct way, but you know that in an indirect way. And he says that they're not gonna provide. I don't know what was the resource um, to France and the president of what is the name? What is the name of
Macron,
Macron?
Macron.
Yeah, he was upset because he said that he always supported those countries and in the history, and he was like, "Oh my God, you and the people before of you was abusing those countries," and I think that it's something that it must be regulated because. I think that is that the bad part of the capitalism because they don't care about human beings. Just care about their countries and their economies.
Yeah, and we need to be very careful with the word aid, help. Yes, I am helping you. You are helping him. She is helping me, aid.
Yeah.
This word aid, we need to take it with a grain of salt, as they say. For example, I'm just remembering the Plan Puebla, Panama. Plan Puebla, Panama.
Yeah.
In this plan, they were going to help Mexico to combat narco traffic. They were going to help Mexico to recover, to modernize. There were lots of good ideas, actually.
Hmm.
But in reality, they were also planning to smuggle machine guns and weapons of all calibers to Mexico. This
Hmm.
is 20 years ago. I don't remember when the Plan Puebla Panama started. Let me check really quick. But the
Yeah.
plan, let me see. What was the Plan Puebla Panama? And it was Programa de Desarrollo Integral de Mesoamérica, yes. Infrastructure development, poverty reduction, environmental sustainability, cultural and social integration. The principles were actually very good,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But a consequence of that aid allowed the smuggle of weapons in Mexico. So Mexico became a violent country after this plan. And you say, how can it be? Well, yes, because you are going to fight the bad guys. How? Well, with weapons. And of course,
Hmm.
it's like if I say to my neighbor, right? The neighbor had a fight with his brother. Hey, I am fighting with my brother. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to help you. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to give you uh, a knife. I'm going to give you a sword. I'm going to give you a gun. And I'm going to give you a grenade. That's going to help your problems in your house. I tell my neighbor, and he will respect you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so the neighbor now has weapons, a knife, a sword, an axe, a grenade, and he's going to defend against his brother. And but not only that, but now I have access to your garden. I can take apples, I can take this, I can take that. So there are concessions. It's not only that I give you the weapons for free.
Hmm. Yeah. Of course.
There are many concessions, and those concessions is what people don't know, right? So all these plans to help poor countries, to help developing countries, yeah, they help you in a way, and the principles are very pretty. The principles are great to promote trade. That's great, actually. One of the principles of the Plan Puebla Panama was to promote trade with other countries other than the typical European countries. You wanted to promote trade with Costa Rica, with Nicaragua, with the Central American countries. The idea was very good, but
Hmm.
the execution, I don't know, Mickey. I have my doubts. I have my comments. Have you heard of the Plan Pueblo Panama before?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, that was in my time when, well, not in my time, when I was already a grown up. It started like 20 years ago,
Hmm.
and the idea was to industrialize not only Mexico but other countries. For
Hmm.
example, I was working for Siemens, and they
Hmm.
sent me to Guatemala
Okay.
to a
Uh-huh.
public bid. A public bid. You know what a public bid is?
Nope.
A public bid is a licitación pública. Public
Okay.
bid.
Hmm.
Um, the infrastructure of Mexico, electrically speaking, well, you have electricity in your house, right?
Yeah.
That's why you power your computer.
Hmm.
Why do you have electricity in your house? Because there is a plant somewhere that generates electricity and
Hmm.
transmits the electricity, the power from the power station to your house. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this power plant is very expensive because you need three transformers, one generator, you need turbines, and you need like the ones that you have in Pemex, the towers, the combustion towers,
Mm-hmm.
you need a huge infrastructure. And that way you can transmit power in a power line. You have seen in the highway three power lines, which are normally 400 kilovolts or 230 kilovolts, or sometimes 3.8 kilovolts, etc. Have you seen this in the highways?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Mexico has 400 kilovolts, 230, 13.8. This is our electrical infrastructure for power transmission. The US has this and additionally has 700 kilovolts in some parts. The higher the voltage, the longer distances you can transmit power. For example, imagine in Siberia, you know Siberia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that they have 1000 kilovolt power lines?
1,000.
1000 kilovolt power lines. 1000 kilovolt power lines. Why? Because you need to increase the voltage to be able to transmit in long distances, like in Siberia, like in Russia.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, to make the long story short, Guatemala didn't have 400 kilovolts. Guatemala only had 13 and 230. So they needed to. It's like if how can I say this? It's like your power system in the computer power system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have only these capabilities and you want to escalate, you want to go higher.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, so the idea was that Mexico connected electrically with the electrical grid to Guatemala. That was part of the
Mm-hmm.
Plan Puebla Panama, which was an excellent idea. But the problem was that they didn't have the power capacity. So we wanted to connect to the Chicoacén Dam in Chiapas. The president Chicoacén Dam was going to connect Mexico with Guatemala, an electrical connection, like if you are playing the cebollitas, right? Did you ever play the cebollitas
Yeah, of
with your
course.
yes? Okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
connect and you connect and you. That's the idea. So you transmit power to another country. Well, that was the public bid in Guatemala. We're going to transfer power from the
Mm-hmm.
Chicoacén Dam and power plant to Guatemala. They made a public bid. They invited four participants. They invited ABB, they invited Areva or Alstom, the French company that built the metro system in Mexico, New York, Japan, and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
ABB, Alstom, Siemens, and one more that I forgot. ABB. Well, ABB is there almost Siemens, and I don't remember what other company. There were four companies.
Okay.
Well, we were Siemens. We bid 4 million. 4 million. The cost of the four transformers. Another company bid 5 million. Let's say General Electric, which is not. I don't think it's General Electric, but let's say General Electric, which bid let's say 6 million, $6 million, and Alstom built 7 million. I don't remember if it was Alstom, but I think it was Alstom. Well, the public bid was like this. Siemens got eliminated. They said, no, the bid is not good, has problems, and is not valid, technically speaking. Eliminated. General Electric eliminated, disqualified. ABB disqualified. The winner, the winner is Alstom. The most expensive won the
Mm.
public bid. You suspect, well, this is not right. My bid was perfect. I spent in Guatemala 3 4 days checking
Mm.
every concept so that the bid was perfect. Well, we were eliminated. General Electric eliminated Alstom. Well, what happened? The government said Alstom is the winner. Yeah, they're gonna connect Mexico with Guatemala, and we're going to go to the next generation. Now we're going to have 400 kilovolts. You know what we did? I said to my boss, this was illegal. They disqualified us illegally. Well, let's send a protest, and we did. General
Oh,
Electric
okay.
said this was illegal disqualification. They sent a protest. They protested. ABB did the same. You know what happened?
Good.
They said, well, this bid was a fraud. They canceled the bid.
Mm.
And Guatemala remained in the caverns, age, remained in the past.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
some government officials said that, well, let's uh, let's rob $3 million, right? Yeah, from 7 to 4 is 4 million, $3 million, right?
Hmm.
So they wanted to take that money to give the contract to the most expensive company and of course take some bribes. So again,
Yeah.
corruption. What happened? Guatemala didn't get the 400 kilovolts. The bid was void, was cancelled, and they didn't get 400 kilovolts. So it lends itself to lots of corruption, which is unfortunate for the
Hmm.
country because the people were expecting to go to the next generation, have more power capacities, and increase the quality of life, which one person in politics uh, and that would have happened. But of course, we protested. They protested. Siemens protested. Everyone protested. So they said, "Okay, well, if that is the case, we cancel the bid, and Guatemala remained in the past. It was cancelled, void. Funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that is the issue of all systems, because I think that it is not applied how it must be, and the corruption, and always people try to take advantage of everything, and that's why systems in general sometimes don't work as it's supposed.
Yeah, that's true. And it is not that capitalism is bad or communism is bad in itself. They have good ideas. I mean,
Hmm.
the property is personal or the property is common. It's like if you make a corporation, a family corporation, you say you tell your dad or your mom or it's like if your mom says, "I want to make cakes." Well, yeah, okay. I'm gonna buy an oven, but this project is gonna be a family project. Okay, so everybody's gonna work. Okay, well, that is a base of communism, right? Or if
Yeah.
you say, well, it's gonna be only one owner, I'm gonna be the only owner. Well, that is capitalism. So
Hmm.
the means of production are commonly owned or privately owned. Well, those are only ideas, Mickey. We're just checking the ideas, and of course, the topic is very extensive. 1 hour, we cannot fix the world in 1 hour, but we will fix it in the next class
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, true.
All right. So, when do we meet again? Tomorrow?
Yes, sure. Actually, tomorrow I have my audience.
Oh, you with the with the judge?
Yeah. But I know that I knew that I have class, so I put it at 12. So if we start soon, I don't know if I just need to take a copy of my ID and of the fine, right? That's the only thing.
Yeah, they're gonna ask you all kinds of questions. They're gonna ask you, "What do you do?" Well, you can say, "I work" or "I'm a student." How much money do you make? If you say too high, the fine will be high. You need to say low, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Because
say that I work in a restaurant. I don't know as how is the name?
as a waiter,
Waiter. Yeah,
okay,
something
yeah,
like that, or and that I'm
yeah,
paying my master's degree because I finished the university and I don't have work.
yeah. They give you the fine depending on your income. If you tell them that you make good money, they will give you a high fine, and they will give you the choice. What do you want to do? You want to pay a fine or you want to work?
Hmm.
They say community service, or, yeah, social service, community service, servicio comunitario, yeah, community
Yeah,
service, and they will give you 6, 9, 12, or 15 hours.
and for example, if I choose that, uh, when I need to start, or it's immediately, or
Yeah,
how
you
it.
can start immediately, and they will give you a margin, a period. They say, well, you need to complete your 6 or 5 or 9 or 12 or 15 hours in this month. They give you like a month to complete the
Okay.
hours. It's really easy, really simple, and it's actually good. It's actually positive.
Would you
Then
recommend that I choose community
Parque
service?
Ecológico.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parque Ecológico. Yes, they're gonna ask you to water the plants. well, sometimes to carry some baggage, some to do different activities, but they're good. I
It's
mean,
okay.
it's nothing difficult and something that you're going to enjoy. You're going to make new friends. Actually, you can tell them to donate some trees.
Okay, yeah, probably I would choose because I wasn't sure because I didn't know when I needed to start it. But if they give you as like a month or to do all those hours, I think that
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, they
it's
give you
good.
like a month. They tell you, okay, today is September 21st. You have till October 21st to complete your community service.
And they give you like a schedule. For example, you need to go
No,
from this hour
it's
to this
free for
hour.
you. No, no, no. They tell you we open at 9 and we close at 5. You can come 1 hour today, 1 hour tomorrow. You can come 6 hours one day as you wish.
There's someone who is checking that, or how
Yes,
it
yes.
works.
There's a
Yeah.
person who checks that. Yes.
Okay. Is at Cerezo, right? When I needed to go.
No. Ah, well, yeah. For the appointment, yes, at
Hmm.
Cerezo. You need to go to
Yeah,
Cerezo
because I. Uh huh. Hmm.
and tell them, look, I come to the with the transit officers because of this. You need to explain the guard because otherwise they're gonna make you wait a long time. You need to tell them, look, I have an appointment with the judge, so don't make me wait, please. Otherwise they will make you wait. So you
Okay.
need to be clear that what is the purpose of your visit, that you're
Hmm.
not going to visit somewhere or over there,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that you're
Okay.
not planning to there. Tell them what the purpose is, right?
Perfect, teacher. Yeah. Well, let's see tomorrow. But yeah, can we have the class at 8?
Yeah, yeah, 8 is fine.
Okay, teacher. Well, thank you very much.
Good luck, Mickey. And tomorrow
Thank
you
you.
tell me, well, not tomorrow because tomorrow's going to be early. The next
Yeah.
class, you tell me
The
how
next
it went,
class.
okay?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mickey. Take care. Goodbye.
Take care. Enjoy your day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Have a wonderful